Today's story is called The Sorcerer's Apprentice. And before you think it, no. It has nothing to do with the Disney short film from Fantasia, so just get that out of your head right now. The story starts that once upon a time, there was a man who was walking through the woods and thinking to himself, I need an apprentice for my workshop. And he stumbles across a young boy, and he says, "You there, boy. Would you like to be my apprentice?" And the young boy says, "Well, sure, I've just skipped off from home, said goodbye to my mom, and I'm going out to find myself a trade." And the man says, "Oh, yes, good. But before I hire you, I need to know a couple of things. Can you read and write?" And the boy says, "Yeah, sure, of course I can read and write." And the man says, "Ooh, not good. See, I cannot have anybody who knows how to read and write." And the boy says, Whoa. Sorry. I thought you said, do I know how to eat and fight? I know how to do that, but reading and writing, I don't know anything about that." The man says, "All right, you're just the guy that I want. Come work for me at my workshop." Now, the boy had his wits about him. You see, he was curious why any master would want an apprentice who didn't know how to read and write. That's a little odd. So he went traipsing off with the man back to the man's workshop, and there was the workshop. And as soon as they got there, the little boy looked around, and he was amazed by all of the strange and miraculous things that he saw. There was a bubbling cauldron sitting over the fire in the fireplace, and there were many leather-bound books, and there was a pestle and mortar, a big one, sitting on the ground, and hanging from the ceiling there was a giant toothy fish. And he's thinking to himself, I have not stumbled across any ordinary skilled master. I have fallen into the company of some magician or sorcerer. And sure enough, the sorcerer put him to work, doing all kinds of things. He had to sweep up and keep everything in the workshop clean. He had to grind bugs and nasty things in the mortar and pestle for potions, and he had to stir the cauldron and all of this all of this stuff. And that went on day after day, week after week, month after month, and the boy's curiosity just burned to find out what was in those books. But he knew that he couldn't ever go and check out the books because he was supposed to not know how to read and write, right? Because if he showed any interest in those books, he knew it would give him away. So eventually it got to be too much, and he snuck over in the middle of the night one night while he could hear the sorcerer snoring away, sound asleep, and he pulled down one of the books. He started reading, and he learned all of these amazing, mysterious, magical things. And he did that day after day. Whenever the sorcerer was fast asleep, or whenever he went out and the boy guessed, probably wreaking havoc on some poor mortals somewhere, he would sit there and he would read, and he learned how to make potions and how to conjure things and cast spells. And one day, when he had all of these things floating around inside of his skull and getting him all excited, learning how to do magic, the sorcerer came back from an errand and found the boy sitting there in the corner looking at one of his books. And the boy tried to be quick about it, and he pointed and smiled, saying, "Oh, look, all the pretty pictures." But the sorcerer wasn't fooled, and he said, "Come back here! You've lied to me and you've tricked me. You know too much. You know too much, and now I have to get rid of you." But the boy had learned enough and had practiced enough that he said a spell, and poof, he turned into a bird, and he flew out the door and flew away. But the magician was hot on his tail. He, poof, turned himself into a bigger bird and flew after him. They got to a river, and the boy went poof and turned into a fish and swam through the river. But the magician went poof and turned into a bigger fish and swam after him and was going to eat him. But then the boy turned into yet even a bigger fish, and he tried to eat the magician. And the magician said, I am better than you at this. And he went poof, and he turned into a small grain of corn. and floated away and landed on the bank and hid between some rocks and said, "Ha, you'll never find me, you silly boy." But the boy turned into a rooster, and he found the little piece of grain, and he gobbled him up, and the magician was slain. And so then the whole magician's workshop fell to the boy, and he went back, and he became the magician. And how great is it that all of that mysterious and mind-boggling magic fell away from one who had evil intent into the hands of one who had good intent for man and beast across the world. And that, my friends, is the story of the Sorcerer's Apprentice. If you have enjoyed this story and you would like to hear more stories from This Spoken World, go ahead and click that subscribe button below. And also like this video and share it with 10 of your closest friends, or if you didn't enjoy it, 10 of your closest enemies. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time with another story. Take care.